I really shouldn't be making a video right now because I feel like crap. I know you guys don't want to hear that, but I'm giving you at least a little bit of an excuse as to why I sound this way, but I still wanted to make a video for you guys. So I figured, I know I said I wasn't going to do a build log.
And I'm still not doing a build log. I'm keeping my promise on that.
I figured we'll just kind of do a project update. That's what we're calling it. A project update on the Parvum build. You know what's funny about this? I've never come up with a name for it. I never came up with a name for it. Maybe I want you guys' help on that. Maybe I don't. I don't know. The Fractal Design R5 is so amazing, it fits all kinds of cool hardware in there. Water cooling, air cooling, and on top of that, it's silent. And it's awesome, like explosions. Or like really quiet explosions. But I figured since it's been a while since I've talked about it and I teased it in some videos and I showed it in the background of some other videos and it's been all over Instagram. If you guys aren't following on Instagram, you should be, because then you would know a lot more about this build. We're gonna go ahead and talk about it and do a project update on the Parvum build. All right, well there she is. She's not done. As much as it may look like it's done, trust me, it's not done. It's got a lot to go. I'm not gonna give a full case review right now because we're gonna do that in the future. But as you may have guessed, or you can just tell by looking at it, this case is all acrylic. In fact, looking at the company literature and the pamphlet that came with the case, this is not only acrylic, it's recycled acrylic. So this is like green environment stuff right here. Now it does have a 120 millimeter fan in the front, which we have a radiator on, as you can see right there. It is a Black Ice GTS 120 on the front. And then as you can see right there, we have a 240 on the top. We do have Bit Phoenix Spectre Pro fans on there. And then you can see we've got our custom cables. I've got a Gigabyte G1 Gaming GTX 970 with EK water block on there. Very, very sexy. And then you can see we've got a whole lot of fittings in there with Bits Power 10 by 12 millimeter acrylic tube. You guys already saw the video I did where I built that pump out. You can see I had to swap it for a smaller res. The res didn't really fit in there without, it got too close to that right there, so I couldn't actually fit that fitting. So that was a bit of a problem. Even that res on there is too tall to where I couldn't stand it up without it impacting on the card right there. On the back, we do have a Gelid 80 millimeter fan, and I needed to get more intake in this case, so that's pulled as an intake. Front rad is pulled as an intake. And then as you can see, I still have to sleeve this stuff right here, but it's just kind of tucked away. Res is not mounted down yet. Res has to actually come up slightly, like that much literally, to fit perfectly. As you can see, we've got some tension going on that fitting right there. So I need to raise my dongers. Oh no, wait, that's something else entirely. I need to raise the res up just a little bit. I still have to drill the acrylic and mount it. I do have Parvum sending me another one of these blocks. As you can see, these little junction blocks is how the whole thing assembles together, because I want to put one in the middle to combat a little bit of sag that I'm getting. Speaking of sag, as you can see, the GPU does sag a little bit. Sorry for that sniffle. I'm not kidding. I really am freaking sick and I'm still doing this. But I figure we'll do a simple vlog style. You guys really like this. And this is how all of Skunkworks was done. But you can see the 970 is sagging a little bit. I need to come up with a way to reinforce this just a little bit. Like from there to there. You hear that click? It's clicking on the back of the case. So don't freak out. Also too, because this motherboard I'm using, which is the EVGA Z97 Stinger, it does not have a GPU clip. I have no idea why EVGA did that. I don't understand. So now the graphics card can actually pull out of the back portion. See how much that moves? The GPU can actually pull slightly out of the socket if it wants to. So I've got a dilemma here. I've got to find a way to secure this card in there a little better. I'm not happy with the way that that card is secured. Part of the problem too is just, I understand why Parvum went this route, but the rear plate just pushes against the back of the GPU to hold it in place. That in itself is not a problem. But that, coupled with this being a clipless PCI Express port on this motherboard, those two together creates a problem. I would never, ever ship this case. And that's kind of a problem for me because I thought this would be an awesome LAN rig considering going someplace like Portland, unless I drive, which is not going to be super likely, then I don't dare ship this thing. So anyway, let's go and talk about the water cooling loop. As you can see, we have a lot of chrome bits power fittings in there. We do have the EK water block back there. It's a Supremacy Evo. Camera doesn't know what to focus on. We've got, as I said, a DDC, Lang DDC pump with the, put together here with the EK can't even talk. Heat sink with the bits power palm top as well as the reservoir for that. So the reason why I am using these 90s, because I've been asked a shit ton why I'm doing this and I'm not bending it, considering I'm such an advocate for bending. Well, one of the reasons why is because this is 10 by 12 millimeter tube and not 13 by 10 millimeter. So this is much thinner walled tubing than, say, going with like the Primo Chill PETG stuff I've been using for other builds. So bending it, and it's acrylic, so because it's thin and bending it also weakens it more, especially when you heat it up. I don't want this thing to have any chance of cracking. So it made more sense for me to just go ahead and go with these fittings than it is to bend this. Now this adds a crap ton of cost to that. Now, people ask me all the time too where to buy all this sort of stuff. All of the components here, with the exception of CPU, motherboard, RAM, and GPU, it came from performance-pcs.com. So huge shout out to those guys. They're the guys who actually funded this build for me to be able to kind of have fun with a Parvum case and put whatever I wanted in there and not worry about the costs. So huge thank you to those guys. They've kind of taken it up the rear a little bit, especially with the cost of these fittings. Because not only do I have all those, I didn't know exactly how many I would need. So I've got even more right here. And if you figure these are at least 10 to 12 bucks a pop, man, they're expensive. And then here's the box of stuff for the Parvum that still needs to make its way in there, like lighting and all that crap. So yeah, there's been a lot of money that has gone into this build. It's just for the sake of building out something fun for you guys. So, but yeah, I still have to sleeve this. I still have to sleeve some more cables you can see back there. The cable sleeves themselves were actually done by a company called Sanctum Sleeving. And Sanctum has definitely done some good work for me. They're the guys who also did the Skunkworks stuff, as you can see right there. So they did all that cable sleeving for me. And not only did they give me the cables, but they also gave me a ton of extra sleeving stuff, since I told them, hey, you know what? I'm probably going to have to sleeve some more stuff. I don't know exactly how I need it to be done. Can you send me some supplies? And this is what they sent me. So awesome, awesome. Thank you for that. This is a 24-pin that we ended up not using in this build because it was too short. I originally had it going through that hole back there. It was too tight of a bend. The power supply is right there. I'll show you in a second. So they, on rush order, got me that other 24-pin, which you see back there, that runs all the way to the front of the case and comes back, which actually put them behind on some orders and got some people really mad at them. So sorry, Sanctum, but thank you for repairing that or redoing that for me quickly. These are the other cables for power supply to go to two SATA drives, and then my lights and my pump. So these are the side panels here for the case. What I'll show you right there is, as you can see, they have custom etched one of those to say JayzTwoCents on the side. So that's pretty freaking awesome. I've never had a case that said JayzTwoCents on it. This is not actually like etched. This is actually engraved. It's like actually cut pretty deep into the acrylic panel. So that's really nice. But let's go ahead and look at the back of this thing, because this may not look like it, but look at the size of my hand in here. This is not easy. This was a super hard build, and it's not done. As you can see, I've got to rip everything out of here still, even after we're done. You see how like these fittings don't even have like the clamps on them at all? Like this is just mocking up. Before I'm drilling holes or anything to mount the pump and stuff, I need to know how everything is going to be. So this is just a mock-up. I still have to take everything out of here. And then, yeah, so one thing Parvum is also doing is they're sending me a custom front panel, where instead of saying Parvum right here, I'm going to have a really cool, like an arc reactor logo from Iron Man. I think that's going to be neat in there, because this blue behind there will illuminate it. It's going to look nice, but this is the way it comes from the factory. They're able to custom cut anything you give them, for the most part, into this. And so this is the way it comes, but you'll see in the future when it's done, when we do the actual build video, how it looks. And so I did an arc reactor logo, which was kind of neat. And then as you can see here, this is the back. Once again, look at the size of my hand to this thing. So you can get a really good idea of just how tight and crazy this build is. And considering this is an MITX and you saw the size of that motherboard, that should be a pretty good indicator too. I mean, again, here's my hand. It barely fits right there. So yeah, these are the custom cut cables and sleeve cables to length. As you can see, Sanctum did a fantastic job. Everything is exactly as I ordered. Okay, so this right here is where the hard drives mount. They actually mount on their side like that, SSDs. This version of the case only fits 2.5-inch drives. It doesn't fit standard hard drives in there. It's off by probably a good 5 or 6 millimeters where that it won't fit. So yeah, I'm going to be putting a 2.5-inch, 1 terabyte, let's see, laptop hard drive in there, 2.5-inch, HDD for a laptop, and I'm putting a 500 gigabyte, let's see, a HyperX SSD in there. So we'll have 1.5 terabytes of storage, which is good for a gaming machine. We're not hosting any huge files or anything. So yeah, that's what the back looks like. It's, gosh, it really doesn't look like it, but this is so much work involved. There's what that Phoenix Spectre Pro looks like there in the front, and then they're up there on the top. I left these screws, these are just the steel screws from Lowe's that I had to use to mount this. I don't know yet if I want to paint those white or black or just kind of leave them that color. I think it looks nice because they match the fittings that are inside that build. But yeah, if that angle right there just doesn't give you a good indicator of just how cramped this build is, then man, I don't know what else would. But I do want to say I chose the 670 over the Cryovenom R9 290 water-cooled card I have right there, which would have also fit in this build quite nicely. It comes 100% down to the thermals. Since I only have a 240 and a 120 for an effective 360 millimeters of radiator, I had to go with what's going to give me the best thermals. So yeah, that's why we have the 4790K in there, as well as the 670. A single 360 worth of rad should be more than enough for that. But I've already tested these fans out with the side panels on, and they move plenty of air, even with an 80 mil feeding it and a 120 mil. So that's good. We'll just make sure that we run these fans faster than these fans. That way we get positive pressure in there, which is what we want. So anyway, that's the Parvum. So obviously this is not a complete build vlog or even a finished product, but I wanted to give you guys some sort of a tour of what's been happening in the meantime, proving that I'm not just sitting around scratching my ass.
I mean, I am doing that.
That's not all I'm doing. I'm good for more than just that. So I'm sorry that this video quality and comedy content wasn't up to par, but I wanted to put something out for you, and still got some more stuff to do on this loop. I'll show you guys the loop order and all that at the end when I do the review. We'll do temperatures, we'll do gaming, we'll see how fast porn loads on this, we'll see exactly how well this machine performs. I expect it to do pretty damn well considering the amount of hardware that's crammed in here. I don't know, we're talking about doing porn benchmarks and then cramming of hardware. I just realized I haven't even shaved. That's how much I feel like crap. If you guys watch Tech Talk tonight, then you know already it got a little weird. All right, when we come back, when you see this again, I promise it's going to be up, it's going to be running, it's going to be liquid filled, and hopefully not leaking all over the place. We'll do benchmarks, we'll have fun, we'll sing Kumbaya, we'll make s'mores, and in the morning I'm making pancakes, because fuck waffles. Protein pancakes, actually. All right, as always, follow on your favorite social media. If you were following on Instagram or Twitter, you would have seen all of this already, so why aren't you following? You're missing out. All right, enough about the shameless plugs. I'm learning the art of shamelessness through Barnacules. He's quite a good teacher at that. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching.